Hi everyone! Today we're going to read a sequel to Pickle-Chiffon Pie. So if you enjoy Pickle-Chiffon Pie, you're going to love the Pickle-Chiffon Pie Olympics. So this will be another two-parter because these books are fantastic, but they're just a little bit long, and I don't think some of us can stay tuned the whole time. So we'll read the first part today and then tune in tomorrow for part two. Are you ready to get started?
Yeah.
All right, so this is another one by Jolly Roger Bradfield. Do you remember what Olympics are?
Yeah.
What are Olympics?
Pies.
Pies?
Yeah.
That's a really good guess, especially because you saw a pie right there. I love that guess. Olympics are a special set of games and activities that people do from all over the world, and the best people at those sports or activities come to show off how great they are, and people compete against each other. Sound cool?
Yeah.
All right. Her Royal Highness, Princess Sierra, was returning home after graduating from Princess College. Her older sister had recently left on her honeymoon after graduating from the same school. Sierra and her sister were very much alike, except Sierra had flaming red hair and what her mother called an independent streak.
I want kitties.
Okay, grab your kitties. Her father, the king, was more direct. He said she had the stubbornness of 2 mules. The king had been practicing his golf in front of the castle when she dashed up in her carriage, horses snorting and trumpeters loudly announcing her arrival. He was so startled by the sudden racket, he hit the ball right through a priceless, centuries-old stained glass window. "Drat," he muttered. "The queen isn't going to like that." With a sigh, he called, "Guard, call the queen. Princess Sierra is home." He hoped that the queen wouldn't notice the window in all of the excitement. The queen was in the kitchen supervising the baking of a large number of pickle-chiffon pies. She did this every single day, as she was the only one in the kingdom who knew how to make them. Exactly right. And the king demanded that they were made to perfection. They were his favorite dessert in the whole world. When the guard called, she dropped everything, including a large bowl of pickles, and raced out of the kitchen, knocking over a table, a chair, and 2 assistant chefs. "My baby, she cried. "She's home." Now, Princess Sierra had just graduated from college, so she certainly wasn't a baby. But that's the way mothers talk, even queen mothers. Do I call you my baby?
No.
I don't?
I'm big girl.
You're a big girl, but do I still say you're my baby?
No.
I
I'm
do.
big girl.
And we have this conversation, don't we? It was a joyous reunion with hugs and laughter and kisses. Immediately after unpacking, the princess told them of her plans. As her sister had just done, she wanted to get married. "Of course, my dear," said the king, "but let's not rush into things. You just got home. We'll talk about it later." "But he's so..." "Oh, I skipped a spot, sorry." "We'll talk about it right now," replied Princess Sierra stubbornly. "I've made up my mind, and I've even decided who I wish to wed. Prince Charminger." "Charminger? That... cried the king. "Never! I forbid it." "But he's so cute, Daddy. He's got curly hair and dimples." "Curly hair and dimples are not reasons to get married, child." And that was that, at least for a while. As soon as they heard of Princess Sierra's return, every royal bachelor for miles around flocked to the castle. All were attracted by her rare beauty, her curly red hair, and her charming ways. And her pickle-chiffon pie. Every evening, she would invite them all to dinner, a tradition started by her recently married sister. She always saved the seat next to her for Prince Charminger. He was not the richest, nor the brightest nobleman in the kingdom, but he was big and strong, and of course there was that curly hair and those dimples. The highlight of each dinner was dessert. Pickle-chiffon pie. What, baby? I love it too. But if there were too many guests, and there often were, There wouldn't be enough to go around. Sometimes the pie had to be cut into such tiny portions that the king could hardly control his temper. Well, said the queen, if you'd let her get married, there wouldn't be any more suitors and there would be plenty of pie to go around. Marry that fellow? What's his name? Charminger? She can do much better than that. Curly hair, dimples, bleh. That's no way to choose a husband. I know, said the king finally. I'll award the hand of the princess to the winner of the Pickle-Chiffon Pie Olympics. It's coming up soon, and that way she'll get a real man. The queen fainted. Princess Sierra thought that this was a horrible idea. After all, she'd already chosen who she wanted to marry. That's awful, Papa, she cried. I won't do it. I won't. For days, there were arguments and shouts echoing through the halls of the castle. Princess Sierra cried and stamped her foot, but to no avail. I'll not even watch your stupid Olympics. I'll go off somewhere till it's over. I'll go stay with Aunt Venetia. But the king's mind was made up. He sent out a royal decree announcing that whoever won the Olympics that year would also win the hand of the princess. And that was that. The very next day, Princess Sierra stormed out of the castle with her ladies-in-waiting and enough baggage to fill several carriages. She didn't even say goodbye. That night, the king and queen sat in their bed sharing a whole pickle-chiffon pie. Maybe I spoke too fast, said the king. Maybe I should let her marry that fellow with the dimples, Prince Charminger. Well, dear, said the queen, you did what you thought was best at the time. I'm sure everything will turn out fine. But she was not really so sure. Sign-up day for the Olympics was utter confusion. There were dukes and princes, rich men and poor. All wanted to marry the beautiful princess. Some of the entrants were familiar to the royal family, and some were not. They were all shapes and sizes and all pushing and shoving. Prince Charminger was first in line. One constant who stood out was Baron Bratwurst. He was a head taller than all the others and had a long, crooked nose and tiny, cruel eyes. None of the villagers liked him because it was well known that he mistreated his servants and ate raw onions for breakfast. However, he was known to be very strong and very athletic. Some folks thought the winner might be the Sweeney Sticky Fingers. That wasn't his real name, but everyone called him that because so many valuable things, like wallets, coins, jewels, etc., seemed to stick to his fingers. They thought he had a good chance in the races because he'd had so much practice running from the sheriff. Others bet on Peter Pickle-Picker. He had spent his entire life laboring in the pickle orchards and was strong as an ox. Prince Musclebaum, a former suitor of Sierra's older sister, showed up in his bright, shiny armor. He was a handsome fellow, and all the young maidens thought he was just awesome. A few folks even bet on Prince Well-Read. He wasn't much of an athlete, but he could count up to 684 and read books 3 inches thick. Folks figured anybody that smart might figure out a way to win. King Albert the Ample from a nearby kingdom was so used to getting everything he wanted that he thought for sure that he could win a simple thing like the Olympics. He was, however, a tad out of shape. Another contestant the crowd took note of. Okay, go get her. Another contestant the crowd took note of was all dressed in sinister black armor. Bystanders soon dubbed him the Black Knight. Scary looking, isn't he? Said one villager. I certainly wouldn't want to argue with that fellow, said another one. No one ever saw him raise his visor on his helmet, even when he talked, so his voice sounded muffled and strange. Maybe he's so ugly that he doesn't want to show his face, giggled one old woman. Or maybe he's wanted by the sheriff and he doesn't want to be recognized, said another. Each night in the taverns, the old men gossiped about the one called the Black Knight. Their tales became more and more exaggerated. Maybe he's an escaped convict, claimed one. Oh, yes, I'm sure of it, replied one grandfather. And the rumors continued to spread. All right, we're going to pause there and finish up tomorrow. This book's really cool because I think it has a great twist that you won't see coming. So something to think about for the next day until we finish up. Harper, do you want to come say bye to everybody?
Bye-bye.
Bye.